Hey there, and welcome to the Confident Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Brooks. Join me as I sit down and chat with co-hosts, friends, and carefully curated guests and talk about all the things that empower you to become your best and most confident self. So, let's get started. So I have to tell you, there are conversations I walk away from that stay with me for days. And let me tell you, this is one of them. Today, I'm sitting down with Tami and Elizabeth Lange, a mother and daughter who built Save the Girls, a touchscreen purse company from a prayer, a problem, and a one-way ticket to China. And they did all of this in 6 weeks. 6 weeks from idea to launch. And what I love about their story, and what I think you're going to love about it too, is that it didn't start from a business plan or a pitch deck or some perfectly timed moment. Nope. It started with 2 daughters who lost their phones in the same week, a sister-in-law with breast cancer exactly where she stashed her phone, and a woman who decided there had to be a better way. Tami and Elizabeth, welcome to the Confident Woman.
Thank you so much for having us on this podcast. We're so excited. We have a lot of stories and a lot of backstories, but we're going to tell you the initial one, which is when God placed an idea in my head for a new company. And honestly, it was at a time that we needed to find something new. It was my husband actually was getting his PhD at the seminary. So I was the sole income earner, but things were changing at the company I was with. And we weren't sure if that was going to keep moving forward. So I had to come up with a new idea. So I was looking and praying, Lord, please provide some kind of idea for me. And 2 of my daughters then lost their phones in the same week. And it was devastating because we were going through this financial crisis or looming crisis. And so they lost their iPhones. Oh no. And we didn't have the insurance and they lost all their senior pictures. It was like one of those devastating things. So the first one lost hers on a trail, and the other one, while we're looking on the trail, got her jeans dirty, went home and washed her phone in her jeans. So all of that happened right there. So anyway, that was just very frustrating. So my sister-in-law, she had the solution. She pulled her phone out of her bra, and she had breast cancer right where she kept her phone. I thought, we got to find something better. I literally went shopping for her girls and my girls, tongue in cheek for sure there, but I couldn't find anything. And so then a day after that, we went canoeing, and I was the canoe princess in the front of the canoe with a waterproof bag, passenger princess. And I was texting through a waterproof bag, and I thought, why don't we put that inside of a purse? Put a clear piece there because everybody's digging for their phone. You see so many women one-handed. This way your phone's always accessible, and usable, but yet in a secure place. So I drew up something that night to put it on an international website, and 17 factories bid on me the next morning. 17 factories. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I can make a business out of this. And I did test some ideas on Facebook and some of my drawings and things like that. And it was a go. People are like, yes, do it. So I jumped on a plane. First and foremost, we had a family meeting. I am the oldest of 5 kids in our family. At that time, I had just graduated college. My dad was going back to the seminary to get his PhD. And then my younger 4 siblings, 2 were in college, all private tuition schools. And the baby 2 were in private high schools, private Christian high school. And lots of money going out, not a lot of money coming in. My parents had saved our entire lives and stashed away money for our college tuitions. And so mom came to us all and she was like, we have all this money saved up. It's for you guys. It's for your colleges. Is it okay if I take it and invest it into this idea and invest it into this business? And so we had a family meeting. We all unanimously voted, Mom, it's your money. It's what you've saved our entire life. Spend it how you want to. So I bought practically a one-way airline ticket over to China and started designing purses. I went and visited the 17 factories. I visited about 13 of them. I thought there'd be kids running around. I thought it'd be terrible conditions. It was not. I come from a manufacturing background, and it was clean, neat. The biggest of the big brands was there, Michael Kors. Like all the brands I knew were in those factories. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like legit business. I can actually do this. So we designed some more purses, brought home some prototypes, and then opened up a website. All of that was in 6 weeks. So from the idea to quitting my full-time job of 25 years and going with 6 weeks time. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, we have got to make a run of this.
It's totally unique now.
Yeah, I thought this would be it. My first month of big internet sales with Facebook advertising was $590. And I'm like, okay, we're all going broke. We can't make a house payment on $590. So we loaded up all the purses. The kids all got involved and we ran to stores and we set up 150 stores by Christmas. And so the next month we actually sold $20,000 worth of product and we did Facebook Lives with each of the customers, which really multiplied how much we sold in their stores. And then the next month we did $40,000. And then in January, I thought we're not going to sell anything. Christmas is now over. But we went to the Atlanta Mart and we sold $90,000 just in January. There's been so many ups and downs, but that is how we launched and started Save the Girls.
Just for anybody who's not in the retail space, what is Atlanta Mart that she had mentioned? That's actually the largest gift market in the US, and it happens twice a year in January and June. And during that time, it's all the boutiques and shops and gift stores from around the nation come to this event. There's one there, Dallas and Vegas, and they come to these events and buy for the next 6 months for their stores. We had a friend who owned a store, and she said, that's where I buy everything from. You guys ought to go. And so we set up a booth with crazy guerrilla marketing, out of the box thinking, which did really well. And that's where we were able to raise and sell.
So our guerrilla marketing was literally we had somebody stand in the front of the elevator with their touchscreen purse using it. And then somebody in the back of the elevator, all the elevators are just jam packed with people. And the person in the back of the elevator would say, hey, is that a touchscreen purse? Where did you get it? And then that person would turn around and say, Save the Girls are a new brand. They're really cool. And literally the elevator would get off and come. And we had a line the whole time. We had 2 people riding the elevator the whole show, bringing us people. And that's how we ended up setting up. We had over 1,000 stores selling Save the Girls within our first year. But that is how guerrilla marketing at its finest.
Oh my goodness. This is incredible. What a powerful story, because it's like you solved the problem. Something so simple, but yet it has exploded and has brought in a whole family from the idea to reality in such a short time. And now you're making waves. And this is what happens when you are just God led.
Definitely God.
And motivating your gifting as well.
Yeah.
So how long ago was this? When did the company come about?
2017?
Yep, 2017. So we just launched September 1st. So only 3 months of 2017 did we launch. We got the idea, I think it was July 15th, about there at a family reunion. And then we launched September 1st.
Which is actually my mom's birthday.
Yeah.
We launched on her 50th birthday, which is also just such an amazing inspiration that it's always a good time to start something new.
Yeah, you're not too old to start something.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if you have that inkling in your heart or that desire to start something new, that's what we talk about also on the podcast. It's like that gift, that dream was specific for you. There is no time, there's no age, there's no limit to when and how God can make anything happen. So that's powerful. And I love that the whole family has been involved, start to finish. And the marketing of, I love it. And I love that the strategy behind it was just like, put 2 people in the elevator. This is where all the people are, and make that call out. So I love that you guys got innovative. You brought the whole family in with a whole different perspective, different ideas, and the family meeting. What a dynamic that brings that. You're not just a business, it's this tight-knit family business. And what product that you create is there to help others in their lives, to make it simple, to create something new that will bring families closer in a sense, and especially for Saving the Girls, the pun intended. And I love that you give back. Your company does this. It's a form of your give back contribution to the American Cancer Society as well.
10% of all profit we send to American Cancer Society. The first year we sent to a bunch of different organizations and then realized it'd be a bigger impact if we just picked one. And so we do it to their cancer research division of the American Cancer Society. Partnership too has been really blessed. We've helped them with other partnerships with other retailers and things like that, or at least have done a lot of work together, brainstorming how can we also help your organization bring more awareness and dollars to the research portion of what they do.
So it's actually been really unique because we've been able to do so much because of our amazing customers and our community that has backed us. for the last 8 years. But we've now been able to donate over $160,000, which for us is crazy and amazing. And for them, it's a drop in the bucket compared to all
Big
that they're
corporation.
doing. But even though in their eyes, we're really just a drop in the bucket, my mom, Tammy, she has found so many other ways to be supportive, and they truly like honor and value our relationship, and they have regular meetings. And it always shocks me that they care about us, but it's because my mom, it's so weird because here at work, sometimes I call her Tammy, and then other times I call her mom. So, mom, it's so fun because she truly has done so many other things for them in order to connect them with really large companies, to connect them with further things like Good Morning America. So we've been able to have some really fun partnerships like that. And it's been really cool to see how it's never just finances. Whenever I think of generosity, of course, we in the Western world, our first mind oftentimes pivots toward financial generosity, but it's so much more than that. It's ways that we can be involved. It's ways that we're able to be generous with our acts, with our time, with connections. Exactly. And that's something that I've really been able to watch my mom do so well, is be generous in all areas. And that's been really exciting to see and to learn from.
I think that if you have a business, you have something in mind that's bigger beyond you. And I know that from a business standpoint, even entrepreneurship, it's you see a problem, you solve it. But how can we leave, how can we make that impact and leave a legacy that is beyond just the business? Because you could sell incredible products and change lives, but what does the company, what does the brand stand for? And I think that you guys are very value led. And I love that because you're really showcasing that, yeah, we have this cool product, but we're more than our product. We have something that we're leaving and now bringing the family. That's the legacy piece, is that this dynamic will continue to live long beyond the purse. The product always has some sort of a shelf life, right? We're not, or the fashion or the trends, but you have something that's sustainable, and that's the beauty of it. And I think that itself is inspiring, because this will always outlive where you're at right now. And so I'd love to talk about the courage that it would take for somebody who's listening right now, who maybe has that idea or that inkling or that God calling, and they're like, I've just done nothing with it. Or how and what kind of advice would you give to our listeners? How did you get started on this and just say, you know what, I'm going after it? Or did you sit on the idea for a little bit?
Okay, I have some new to throw in before she answers with the big answer. And my thing is start before you're ready. So she was not ready to launch on her birthday. And I said, that's too bad. I'm throwing you a party and we're launching this thing today. So that's really something that I see so many entrepreneurs get hung up on, is they want it all to be perfect. And that's just not possible even after 8 years. If you end up sitting on an idea for too long, it's going to fizzle out. And yeah, my number one advice is just start, and start before you're ready, and figure it out as you go. You never have to present the perfect thing the first time. Perfect is unattainable, and it's something that we're working towards, but just don't expect it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of that is great. Lori Grenier, I was blessed. 6 months in, Elizabeth was at the show with me, and she wrangled in with her, hey, have you seen these touchscreen purses? Our guerrilla marketing, a guy that was from the Oscars. And he was setting up the gifting units for the Oscars, which were 2 weeks away. And he talked to Elizabeth. She told about the give back, about the product. He was so excited about it. You need to come to the Oscars. And so he asked me, I'm like, I don't think I could do that. I didn't have 500 purses. We are running out. You have to give those.
Yeah. So what it is, the celebrities come through and they each get a free product from whatever you have. So you're giving away free product to these celebrities, and in return, you're able to get pictures, endorsements. They say nice things that you can write up in blogs. And we were listening to this idea. And we're like, we don't have 500 persons, and we're selling them out faster than we can get them in. Like we do not have 500 persons to just give you. And plus, on top of that, we broke. So like, how are we going to give away persons? Exactly. Yeah. So we initially told him no, and he came back at us like, listen, you're crazy. You're crazy. Nobody says no to this opportunity. This is not something that you can just get into. There's no wait list. And yeah. So then shoot, we're going to do it. So we just did it, and it worked out
It worked out fine. It was not a big sales event as I was worried about, but Lori Greiner from Shark Tank called us 3 days after we're at the Oscars because the movie star people told her about us. And so we were able to work with Lori Greiner, which is amazing. So once again, stepping out of your comfort zone, trying something new, it was amazing. But back to the idea of what is something you should do. I have done marketing my whole life, my master's degree, marketing, everything. So I've had a lot of experience. So 6 months in, we already were doing quite well. And then I read her book because I was going to meet with her. And I was like, oh my gosh, everything in the book is what I did. So I strongly recommend to young entrepreneurs to read that book because honestly, it's a play by play. The only thing that I disagree with in her book is get your patent set up. If it took 3 years to get our patent, by the time we got our patent, we had already sold $5 million worth of products. So if I would have waited for the patent, we would have missed all those opportunities. That's the only thing. Like she said, just when you're ready, when God gives you the idea, just pray about it. And if that's truly what you feel God's calling is, then talk to some friends, pray with them, but start walking in that direction and you will be led in what you should do next. Because there is a process for starting something. Let God lead you, and I think he'll take you down the right path.
And when God is leading, it's amazing the doors that will open.
Yeah.
Like the door that opens so quickly in just a 6-week time frame. And then every single year through that, since then, just different wild doors have been opening that we never would have expected or anticipated. And so when you're really able to walk following his calling, it's amazing what doors will open. And if a door is closed, that happens too. And maybe it's time to pivot because that's retail closed for us right at the very beginning. And we were like, what is happening? So we pivoted to wholesale. And that was a beautiful thing. And now we're able to come into the retail space after we have grown and developed. And now our retail is flourishing more than it ever could have. If we had taken off so fast at the beginning, who knows? Maybe we wouldn't be where we are with retail today.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Because so start before you're ready. You just got to go. You got to take that action step. You already know where you're going. You just have to take that first step and the paths will align. But if you do nothing and you sit on the sideline waiting for that perfect moment or that perfect product or the perfect idea, then that stewardship of the dream that God has given you has already passed on. And what you're supposed to bring into this world, I truly believe this, is that he'll find somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's like taking your own advice. You have to start. And when you do take those messy, imperfect action steps to bring this idea into reality, like you said, the doors will start opening, the connections will start being made, the opportunities will be had. And you never know until you take that first step. And I think even for me being in the entrepreneurial space, I've done some manufacturing and sourcing. I've just started sketching stuff in my notebook and I had no idea. And I'm going to double down on exactly what they said. You start before you're ready. You just do. There is no blueprint that's going to be perfectly curated for your product or your idea. Especially with somebody who's done something similar in your space, they're there to model, but not to follow along because you're going on different paths. So it's like what you said about Lori's book. You read it and it was almost to a T, but there were certain things that you disagreed with or didn't align. But if you had followed that exactly, then would you have the same outcome of where you're at now? No.
Right.
So I think that it comes with the stewardship and the discernment to know what path is and isn't for you. You have to go at it with grit and grace. You have to give yourself a lot of grace because there's going to be a lot of mistakes, a lot of mess ups, and a lot of just messy, imperfect stuff that you just figure things out as you go. And I'm curious to know, I know some people might be saying, working in a business with a family, how does that work? What does the dynamic look like? And I know you said the whole family was involved, but is it mostly you and Elizabeth and Tami are the front face of it?
So when mom initially launched the business, 2 kids were still at home. So they agree.
Catherine.
Yeah, but the math is not mathing.
I love it. So I had 2 high school girls at home and then a little boy who, by the way, sold $19,000 in one day in a show for me. So he came to the show. Everybody loved having a little boy at the show. Yeah. That we all went together to the shows. So the ones that were home came to the shows. But as they went off to college, then they had their college things. But in the summers, they would come back and help us at the shows or ship or do whatever's necessary.
And at that stage, I had just graduated college and I was actually working as a cruise director and a tour guide, and I was traveling all the time. But the nice thing about my schedule was I could generally be pretty flexible and pick what weeks I wanted to be off. I worked 5 to 7 weeks on, 1 to 2 weeks off. And so I would make sure that my weeks off aligned with when they were doing all the major trade shows. And so then it was like a family reunion. We would all get together again. We would all do the trade shows, except for the second brother who was in college. And then as more got into college, they were obviously busy. So yeah, so that's how that worked out. And then dad was he would come to the trade shows as well and help around office and things like that. And when we first launched, I say when mom first launched, because I truly wasn't a part of the business at that time, it was all out of our basement. So obviously all of the kids at home were very involved as needed to help lift things, move things, do the general heavy
Yeah.
lifting, I would say. Yeah. As far as more of the business, it was really truly you and a friend. And then from there, it was really not until before COVID, you started growing, you started hiring some more people, and you held on to them during COVID because we didn't want to hurt or lose or make anybody's COVID experiences worse, essentially. And then it was right after COVID that I started coming in and working full time to save the girls. And
Because
then
she lost her the cruise line thing. I'm like, can you just come help me a little bit? She's okay. I said, just try it a year, then another year.
Yeah.
And now she's
We're going out here
for it.
yeah. And it's been such a joy and so much fun. And I never in a million years would have expected that I would be working with my mom. But it has been truly just the best experience. And to be able to learn from her and to be able to have a completely different type of relationship rather than just mother-daughter, but now also business partners and boss. And I don't know, everything else that comes with it. It's been really amazing to watch and to see and to grow with her. Yeah, so currently it's just the two of us. All of the siblings know there's always room for them if they'd like to join us. And the other thing that I'm so grateful for my mom about is she's always very much chase your own dreams, follow your own path. And if you want a space, there's space for you here. But until then, please, she has always been so encouraging. We have a brother who's a banker, a sister who's an accountant, another sister who's a high school math teacher at a Christian high school. And then baby brother just graduated college and he's
The operations manager
there you go.
in Florida. So everybody's in different states also. So nobody's local.
Here.
So they all live pretty far away, but we all get together. And then at different times, they still come. Catherine, two of my daughters worked for us this past summer.
The high school math teacher, every summer, she comes and does trade shows with us. So even though she's not with the girls, she always has a summer jobs.
Yeah, so that works out really well. And I think what's so cool about it is you see these different roles that, as a mother and daughter, where your mother is on this pedestal as mom. And then as you grow and mature, she just becomes your best friend. And I think that's a beautiful transition and something that not many get to have. And I think that's something to cherish. Fortunately, I have had that situation as well. So I'm blessed with it as well. But it's something where the family dynamics, it can change everything. But you guys really do have this beautiful dynamic about it. And I love that. So thank you for sharing that, especially because people are like, I could never work with my family, or no, family is great. And I recently had another conversation with a family run business as well. And they were very similar. They were a very tight knit family. And I guess you don't really see that much of it displayed. And that's why I'm curious to know, bringing out the best in this, because there's always hope. There's always goodness that comes out of it. So that's beautiful. And so I know that you guys have had so many challenges, so many obstacles, so many setbacks, because we could talk about all the good things that are happening, because everyone loves a great highlight reel. Let's get to the real. What are some of the challenges and obstacles you guys have had to overcome, and how has it really shaped the adversity and the diversity of your organization, but also the family dynamic in the business?
I'll do the first one,
Yeah.
which was very traumatic, extremely traumatic. This was the first. So our business was growing. We were flipping containers all the time. So I got enough money for my first container, which is about $150,000 worth of product.
And in our area, that's a house.
Yeah, that's a house here. And where we live in Illinois, it's definitely a house. And I mortgaged the house for it. It really was a house. And a tsunami came And I get a note from, and I thought, oh, my boat's fine. It left a week ago. It missed the tsunami or whatever.
Apparently, that's not how oceans work.
So I get a picture of my container floating on the water, and they're like, that one's yours. It's on the water, floating. They're trying to fish it out. We won't know if they got it out or not. I did not tell anybody. I like was upset and nervous about it that I actually started speaking a little backwards. I felt like I had a stroke, but I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't there's no use telling everybody and freaking them out.
All depends.
So anyway, I get a phone call about a week later. It was a solid week, 10 days. We were able to fish your container. We're not sure what the what it's like, but it's coming and you'll get it in 4 more weeks. So it came and they open it up. You take these big, what are those things called? I don't know, like big pliers. So the guy went out, unbolted it, and they opened the container and the cardboard was not wet. And because all the boxes come in all the purses come in cardboard. So I knew if the cardboard wasn't wet, that means it was airtight. And I dropped to my knees. I just started sobbing and sobbing. And people are like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, it's not wet. It's not wet.
And we're like, why would it be?
But anyway, it came, it was airtight, and we were able to sell all the products, and God provided that time. But since that time, it's funny because little things happen and everybody's, wow, you handle that stress so well. I'm like, after that, you can pretty much handle anything. But there's always something in business that catch you off guard, and you have to be ready for it. And so the one thing, if there is a young entrepreneur out there or somebody who wants to start something, you have to be pretty solid mentally, because it could crush you, because there's just a lot that goes up and down. So the ups are fantastic. The downs, it's a roller coaster ride. So you get this fun up, and then you always get that drop of the stomach as you come down. But the good news is, I feel like if you work hard enough and stay in God's will, that you'll get back up on the up. But that doesn't always happen for everybody, but that means God has another plan. So
yeah,
now what do you do?
That's the thing that's so great about being a Christian and having our faith in the Lord. I can't even imagine going through that, experiencing that, and not having that faith in the Lord and that trust to know that even if this all turns sideways, I'm still going to be okay because God is in control. I can't even imagine how terrible and devastating that would be. So that's definitely also a huge benefit for us as Christians and as believers. For me, the thing that immediately comes to mind is tariffs, because it has been a roller coaster the last couple years. And not even just this past year. We had a big tariff increase a couple years ago, 5 years ago. And so that has just also been a huge roller coaster, because we never know. And then, do we hold our product? Do we let it go? Do we wait? And it was like changing so rapidly that by the end, I had somebody who just messaged me yesterday. Oh my gosh, I just heard about the tariff increase. I'm like, what tariff? It happened again? Okay. And we've just gotten to the point where it's like, what's going to happen is going to happen, and we're not going to stress about it, and we're not going to feed into it, because it's out of our control. We'll just pay the dues that we have to pay when they come across our desk, and we're going to scramble for money to find them. And we always find it. So God always provides. And so that's really been an area that we're also just learning to lean on God, because He does always provide. It's just, even when we really don't think it's going to happen this time, somehow it happens. It's so funny, the amount of times that you've called me and you're like, we have a massive check that needs to go out tomorrow, and I just got in this $20,000 check through. We were just on Good Morning America. And so sometimes when we need something, I'm like, let me call Good Morning America and see if they'll air us. And we've been really blessed with them putting us on air quite a bit. And when you're on air, they do sell a lot of purses, and you get cash almost instantly from that, which is huge, because a lot of customers like QVC, it's net 90. So you get paid 90 days after you sell $200,000. You have to wait 90 days. That's a long time to wait to get paid. But on GMA and those shows, they're amazing, and they really do help us a lot.
I love that. Like you said, if you're in business, having God at the center of it will give you that peace and the clarity. And I remember just thinking, like, with entrepreneurship, it's one of the greatest lessons of self-discovery, because you realize, like, the ups and downs and really what you're built on, that foundation. Do you have a solid foundation? And what is that made of? I've been in the entrepreneurial space for 20 years, and it's a lot. There's times where I think for me personally, I'm just like, oh, that was a Rachel idea. That wasn't a God idea. Yep, that's why it fell. Yep, that's why it crumbled. And you go to start to rebuild. And then a lot of it, I think, is testing of your faith, because Sometimes you think, okay, if God gave this to me and I'm acting on it, and then, down the road it crumbles and it's not even sustainable. And then you just lose your heart and passion. And you realize that was a Rachel thing. Like that was something that I was so tightly holding on to because I wanted it to succeed. But then when you let go and you open the opportunity for God to just come in and do what he's got to do, you're just living in those moments of this where it feels like this natural flow where it's freedom based. And that foundation is firm because it's not built on what you wanted. So that's why I think going back to what I said earlier about stewardship and discernment, you have to know what is for him and from him versus what is your own deepest desires and do they align at that intersection. But that's why as we kind of bring this episode full circle, you saw a problem that solved not just a financial need where it's, oh my gosh, I got to, but you saw something at the heart of it that was solving people's problems on a deeper, greater level that would bring families back together, that would bring ease and flow, that would bring God to the center. And your business now becomes that mission driven work that I absolutely love. And I think that is such a beautiful way to, for I guess, how I see this business. And I just wanted to share that with you as well, because sometimes we don't see the bigger pieces of how it intertwines and interconnects. But yeah, this has just been incredible. And you guys continue to make waves in this. And I love that you're literally watching your shipping container bob up and down on an ocean. And that's exactly what it feels like sometimes, just trusting God. You're like, I don't know. But are we going to come out alive? Are we going to come out whole? And that's the perfect testament of what it is. You're watching your shipping container up and down, airtight, dry, not just weather the storm.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
So many storms.
Yeah, if for real in business, in life. And
Yeah.
what is next for Save the Girls? What is next for you guys? I know that you guys have this journey is 8 years going on 9 years. And, what is next for you guys? Curious to know.
We came out with, so one of the things is you're always like rediscovering yourself and trying to come up with new ideas, new products, things like that, which we recently had done just a couple of years ago with adding a clip and go, which is different than a purse, but it's a way that anybody's cell phone case can turn into a crossbody with just a little phone card that goes in it. And that totally gave us an extra revolution or spark, which went viral on TikTok and Facebook and things like that. So that really launched us. And so now the next new thing is we just got into Costco. We're on Costco's website. If you go to Costco.com and type in Save the Girls, you'll find us there, which is super exciting. But also we're in some of their road shows, which is really a big deal. And so Elizabeth's spearheading that group that takes over our road shows for us. So we'll be in different areas, in different states. So check that out. I think we're going to put that on our website.
That on our website.
Okay, we'll add that to our website for you.
Down at the bottom.
And that Costco could really lead us into a lot of other really cool relationships and things like that. So we're working towards that. So that's a lot of fun this year. Our recyclable products are launching actually this month. Very excited about that. I'm nervous to see how they go, but we did put them on a Good Morning America show last fall, and one of the items became the number one item that was bought. So I think it's going to go extremely well. It's a recyclable material. It's a rope, so very athletic. So you can wear your phone when you're getting ready to go to the gym, things like that, and with a pouch for
We
your
also
credit
have
card.
touchscreen purses as well now in that line as well. And
A lot of
made
those,
a
yeah.
lot of new this year. So there's a lot of new touchscreen purses. There's a lot of new clip and goes. And that's been really fun on the design side of just figuring all of that out. And then from that, but as a big picture, what's next? First of all, we're always looking for maybe there's a new, like originally we were doing the touchscreen purse that we added in the clip and go. Maybe there's a new product to be added into the mix. TBD on that. We haven't figured it out yet, but we're always
Praying
looking
for
that.
God for the inspiration on that one.
Yeah.
We did add last year something called a zip and clip, which is a new product, and it did end up becoming 10% of our overall sales. So that was huge. And so I keep praying, God, please keep giving me this inspiration because I don't do it on my own design skills or whatever, but I do I feel like God leads me into some of these new products. And so far, I am very thankful that they've been good. Yeah.
And then from our business standpoint, we've grown exponentially. So we've been growing every single year, which is so fun, but we want to grow because there is oftentimes problems for businesses that potentially grow too fast and that infrastructure is not set up and in place for that. So we have been growing, and that's been really fun in growing us as well as now managers and leaders. We now have a team of 20, but once we officially count our Costco team members, we're going to be a team of 28 very quickly. It's also definitely a growing and stretching moment for us as managers, as leaders, for our team and for our people. And that has been really exciting and a very fun adventure as well, to get to bring others on board who are now invested and investing in our idea and our dreams as well. And I think this year will be a lot of spending time on our people, for our people, as well as for our greater community and for our customers. But in the past, we've really been customer focused. And this is our year to also become team focused as well, which has been really cool.
That's amazing. People first.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'd love for you to close us out. Tell us how we can learn about Save the Girls, where we can find you guys, all the connection pieces. And of course,
We're
all that
everywhere. And we try to be anyway. So, of course, you can find us online at savethegirls.com. That's our website. That's the best place. And there's always deals happening. You can sign up for our newsletter also, and that will get you a little discount deal. We're launching a VIP program, which we're really excited about. So hopefully that will be live very soon. Who knows? It's been a long time in the works. We want to make sure it's perfect. We need to start working on it. Right. You can also find us on Facebook, on Instagram. Just search Save the Girls _STG on Instagram and TikTok. And on Facebook, you can just search Save the Girls Touchscreen Purse. I think if you just put in Save the Girls, we do pop. We're also on YouTube. We're quite literally anywhere I think that you could try to find us. We're probably there. Now we're going to be in Costco's, which is very exciting. Yeah. But we do have a coupon for any listeners as well. So we want you to be able to access that and use that. So it's going to be Confident20. And you can use that it has to be used at savethegirls.com, and be sure to use Confident20. And then you'll be able, and if you look at anybody else who has a Christian business that you want to support, you don't need to necessarily support them by buying their products, but it makes a huge difference for any of us. When you like our Facebook pages, when you comment, you see something you like and say, that's so cute. Oh, I love blue. Whatever your comments are, your liking, your reviews, 5-star reviews, all of that in anybody's business is huge. And you don't even realize it. Even as big as we are now, that we sell to quite a few people, even one comment is such a huge encouragement. But it also can change the algorithm to where people can see our posts more without us having to spend money on them seeing it. So literally it makes us more profitable at what we're doing so we can give back more. So the less we have to spend to get people to come to our site, the more we can literally give back. You might not have a dime, might be on Social Security, but look for your women-owned businesses. Look for businesses Christian-owned that you want to support, and just go to their site, because that little bit of encouragement, liking their posts, commenting goes so far. It really does. And especially reviews. It's really, truly amazing how far it can go. And if you are a QVC or HSN shopper, please comment and give us a review. Like, those reviews are literally liquid gold. Please give us reviews. That's actually like the best.
I think you have to spend money on QVC HSN.
Not actually. Oh, you could say it was a gift. They don't always accept them, but no, now we're cheating the system. That's not good.
No, don't cheat. Don't cheat. Do it for real. But it really does make a huge difference. And we just want you to know that for whoever in your life you can bless with those kind of comments and positivity, it just goes so far.
Yeah, it does. Awesome. I agree. Every bit counts. And it's not, like you said, it's not just financial.
Exactly.
It's your time, it's your energy, it's the different forms of resources that can be so moving in the right direction that you never really think of it as, for that perfect one, acts of service. Just do yourself the justice and share, spread the word, and make a difference in other people's lives. So I just want to thank you, Tami and Elizabeth, for being our guest today and being here and sharing your stories. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of the Confident Woman Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode as much as I did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Thanks again for listening.